The question of core confidence is very prevalent in our lives. We like to feel intrinsically as if we can meet whatever the future brings our way. Unfortunately, we get distracted and we try to build our confidence on things like a strong personality or willpower. But what if I told you that there are a couple of rather unsuspected elements that make for our ability to respond adequately to whatever comes our direction? This channel is Meditation Amsterdam. My name is Pablo, and today I want to discuss a couple of elements that are crucial for our ability to become truly responsive in an adequate way. To explain what these are, you have to imagine ourselves less as a person in a psychological type of way and more like a system. And you have to imagine, there goes my cat again, that we are a system that is constantly taking input from the outside and in turn responding to that input in a more or a less appropriate way. Now, notice that those two are separate things, but they are part of a single responsiveness loop. And seen from this perspective, there would be two things that we need to improve in order to have true and adequate responsiveness. One would be we need to clear our perception of things. In other words, the way that we perceive things is riddled with unclarities. And these have to do with the fact that we use our minds in a very economical way. When we do so, our minds create all kinds of generalizations that are not really valid. They are kind of shorthand for what's really happening. They also distort facts based on memory of the past, and they create omissions. In other words, we have blind spots in our reality mapping that just miss altogether what is happening in their territory around us. And part of our job is to spend a lot of time making sure that our perceptions are clear. In doing this, we can use the typical tools of self-cultivation, such as meditation, for example, so that our thoughts are not getting in our way all the time. And we can also use tools such as body scanning in order to get a better read for where our emotions are getting in the way and murkying the waters of what we perceive out there, the way we perceive things. To the degree that we do cultivation practices that clarify our perception of things, we would be able to correctly see what's going on. And that would solve probably 50% of all our troubles, because seeing situations correctly puts us in a way better position to respond to them correctly. So clarifying our view of things, something that is called viveka, or good discernment in the ancient tongues, is a big part of what we should try to cultivate, that clarity of sight, clarity of perception. But even if you are clear in what you're perceiving, you may have blockages inside you that prevent you from then taking the right action. And interestingly enough, the clarifying of what's happening is not only applied to the outside, but it's also applied to the inside. So when I mention body scanning, that is a great tool to clarify what is happening inside in order to notice when the blockages are flaring up. So our inability to respond to things even when we know we should is a psychosomatic inability. It is poor responses kept in place by an emotional bite or a kind of tug or pull in our somatics. that make it so that we are uncomfortable taking the correct action at the correct moment. So cleaning out our system of psychosomatic kinks and pulls that are pulling us left to right and preventing us from taking correct action is the other part of the job. We essentially do work to erode over time what is otherwise a system that is trying to keep itself in a certain memory-based, very narrow ability to respond, so that we are always trying to use the same responses for all kinds of different situations, even if they don't apply correctly. And that is all kept in place by psychosomatic memory. So what we do is we try to erode that psychosomatic memory over time by doing practices of self-regulation and self-mapping that bring those kinks in the hose to the surface so that they can be cleared out. And eventually our system becomes very clean. When our system becomes very clean, then we are a clean funnel for reality to go through. So we perceive reality very accurately, very richly. It goes through us in a very clean way. And therefore, nothing is getting in the way for us to see what's going on and to respond adequately every single time. And I would submit to you that you can feel when that starts to happen. And that is what creates really core confidence that cannot be shaken by this or that event. It's confidence that is not based on one specific type of knowledge or specialty, or it's not knowledge that is based on being used to facing one specific type of difficult situation, but it is confidence that is based really on the very way in which your system operates, which is clear perception and clean response that is unencumbered by internal frictions or unclarities. So this is in a way yet again an invitation to do practices of self-cultivation in order to develop a confidence that is not based on forceful willpower, or trying to have a strong character that pushes through or that can really fight for what it wants, because it's not necessary. It is confidence based on the fact that you know that you can see what's actually happening and you can freely respond to it adequately without any internal resistance to it. As usual, I'm very curious to what you have to think about it, so feel free to share that in the comments. And if you think that this content is valuable to others, then subscribing to this channel, liking the video, and sharing it with people that you think might benefit always helps. And as usual, I'll be back with more content pretty soon. Until then, cheerio, and thanks for listening.